Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Obsatz, and I am sharing with you some of the things that I have learned over my 80 years of education and growing up. I'll tell you a little bit about me, and I'm going to tell you about the YouTube videos that are out that I have made with my buddy Dave Tillman. They're called PorchTalks because during COVID we've been filming them outside. There are some that are filmed inside before COVID started. I am a retired professor emeritus from Macalester College in St. Paul, where I taught for 40 years, and I taught education and sociology classes, and probably read about 300 to 500 books on many things related to how to be a healthy person, how to help other people, how to be a therapist, how to be a good teacher. And what I've done is I've taken some of the ideas from the books that I've read and put them into videos on specific topics so that people can learn some of the things that I learned from watching these videos, and then go to the books from there. So they're called Porch Talks because they're outside. And I want to share with you just a little personal note. I grew up on a poultry farm, and we were very poor, and my dad said you have to go to school and stay in school and learn a lot if you want to have a good life. And I was so fortunate and blessed to have incredible mentors and teachers. My high school English teacher really encouraged me so much, and I became a writer at an early age. I wrote for the school paper. I was an editor. I wrote a column in a local newspaper. So I got a lot of practice writing, and I took a lot of writing classes. Going to Brandeis University, I was fortunate to get a scholarship, and my first psychology teacher was Abraham Maslow. And I learned all about peak experiences, the hierarchy of needs, self-actualization, and things that we're still talking about 50 years or 45 years later. Went to graduate school at the University of Chicago and had pretty amazing professors there who taught me a lot about schools and classrooms, and I could list probably 25 or 30 names of people who have influenced me. Being at Macalester, I also met a lot of really wonderful people too, who were very educated in their fields. And so I'm sharing with you some of the titles of these videos, and they can be watched in any order. And some are very brief, some are longer. One is called Overcoming Shame, and I've done a lot of workshops. I've probably done 500 workshops over the course of 30 years, and all over the country, and a lot of workshops on shame. So Overcoming Shame is one. Another one is Men, Boys, and Depression, and it looks at the male socialization process and how boys are raised and some of the issues that boys and men have due to limited emotional connection, and how that can lead to anger, violence, and in some cases depression. Another one is The 5 Things We Cannot Change from David Rico, who wrote this really marvelous book about looking at what we can change, what we can't change, and having the wisdom to know the difference, and then learning to accept what we cannot change. One of my most important topics to me is from empire consciousness to oneness consciousness, because I really do believe that the movement in consciousness is what is needed to make the world better. So I think you would find that one interesting if you want to understand why we need oneness consciousness. And a lot of these videos have a spiritual component to them, and the Jesus message on oneness was about love your neighbor as yourself and love God with all your heart, but also about really connecting and caring for others and helping others. One of my most recent ones is Love Heals the World, and it's about being loved, being lovable, and being loving. and how that is what the world needs, given the amount of trauma, suffering, pain, and hardship that a lot of people experience. And it relates a little bit to the empire consciousness. Empire consciousness always produces there's necessary suffering, which we can't do anything about, but empire consciousness produces unnecessary suffering. Another one of these is grow up. And it's about maturity and what does it mean to grow up. And along with that is raising healthy kids, and how we need to do that. In my book, Raising Nonviolent Children in a Violent World, won Minnesota Book Award and the Catholic Press Association Award, and is all over the world, and is translated into other languages. From Trauma to Trust to Triumph really looks at how trust is important, and goes to Erik Erikson's idea of trust as a very basic need that people have, and how when there's mistrust, and when there's abandonment, and when there's trauma, out of that comes war and violence and oppression of people. So I hope you find these valuable and interesting. Share them with other people. Realize that they are just the beginning, and they give you sort of ideas about some of the issues in the world. And my hope is to help make the world better one person at a time, by having people be more in tune with their own lovability and more able and wanting to love others. So thank you very much, and enjoy the videos.